Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to yoga class. We are going to start on our backs. Go ahead and keep your strap and a block within reach. I'm not sure about the block yet, but we'll definitely use the strap. And then come on down to your backs. Oh, and keep your knees bent and your feet on the floor. If you want to bring the feet out and drop the knees in, that's okay. But otherwise, staying just a little bit more alert, because when we start on our backs with the legs straight, we can get pretty sleepy. So hands at the lower belly. The back of the neck is nice and long. The shoulders are drawing down toward the floor. And we're just finding our center, right? We're getting comfortable on our mat. We're bringing, I always think, that my yoga mat has like some magic to it, because when I get on it and I just take a couple of minutes, everything settles down. It's like my body knows that it is time to be in the present moment, to breathe, to let go of anything else that's happening. And just notice how this feels in your body, where you notice the weight of your body, usually across the back, the upper back, the sacrum, the feet, the back of the head. And more so, where do you feel the not touching? Behind the neck, behind the lower back, maybe under the arches of your feet. Take some nice deep breaths in and let them go. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. One more right here. And then simply straighten the right leg and the left arm. So the left arm is going over your head, the right leg straight down to the top of your mat. Everything else stays where it is. And breathe. And imagine this diagonal line from the right hip to the left shoulder, both at the front of the body and the back of the body. Just think about that. Just picture that in your mind's eye. And then press the back of the left shoulder down a little bit more to lift the right leg. So the left arm is staying down. The right leg just lifted, the left shoulder, left arm, even if your arm is in cactus pose, which it can be, by the way, feel that press down as the right leg lifts, just a little bit, just a few inches. And then maybe point and flex the right foot. And breathe and notice we are working the right side of our core. Good, circle that ankle. Circle it the other way. Engage the low belly even more and lower that leg. Woo. Bend the knee, that foot comes to the floor, the left arm comes down. You're back to center, and notice if your right side feels different than your left side. Go to the left side, the left leg straightens, the right arm goes overhead. We're just going to pause here. You feel your right foot on the mat, but it's just there. I'm not overly pushing or anything. And I'm picturing this diagonal line from the left hip to the right shoulder. Find your breath. Remember that right arm can be out at cactus, especially if that's bothering your shoulder. The hips are level. And then press the back, the right shoulder, right hand to the mat to lift the left leg. Notice if it was any easier or harder on that side. The whole left side of our core abdominal muscles are engaged now. And then point and flex that foot. Find your breath. Lengthen the back of your neck. If that chin is starting to rise up, circle that ankle and circle the other way. And hold here, tone the low belly even more and lower that leg to the floor. Release your right arm, bend your left knee. Your feet are back on the floor. Both hands are at your belly. There is a tiny space at the lower back. I want you to imagine zipping up a tight pair of jeans from your pubic bone to your belly button and just lift the right foot a couple inches off the floor. From there, bring that same right leg to 90 degrees. Push into your left foot. See if you can lift both hips an inch, just an inch off the floor, and then lower it down slow. Start to lower the right foot, put it back on the floor. So the hips are staying pretty level the whole time. Here we are on the other side. Push into your right leg. Lift your left foot just a couple inches. Feel the hips. My hands are at my lower belly. The low belly is engaged. Push. See if you can lift those hips an inch. The knee goes to 90. We're still even on both hips. My left hip isn't dipping to the ground. Good, and lower the hips, lower the leg, pause, and then tuck the pelvis. We did this a couple weeks ago, core work. Tuck the pelvis until the lower back is flat on the floor. The hands are still right across the low hips. Lift your right leg. Take that knee to 90. Engage the low belly even more. Lift the left leg and see if you can keep that low back at or close to the floor. Keep the back there. Lower your left foot slow. Lower your right foot. Good. Press into the floor with your low back. Lift the left leg to 90. Hardest part is lifting the other leg without rocking, without arching into the low back. Breathe, everybody. And then lower the right leg. Whew. Lower the left leg. You should have felt that core engage. And then just for fun, with those hands still there, feeling that lower belly, lift your head and look at your knees and feel your belly engage. And then lower down fully. Good. One more right here. Inhale first. Exhale. And look at your knees. And lower down. Good job, everybody. Grab your strap. Take the strap around your right foot. Take the right foot up to the ceiling. Your left foot stays on the floor. Good. Your left hand goes to robot arms, right? So cactus is out to the side. I don't know who made these words up. Robot is your elbow is right along your side. The fingertips are pointing up to the ceiling. The left shoulder is pressing into the floor. And then press into, you're holding on to that strap. You've got good purchase on the right foot. Press into your left foot. See if you can lift just an inch. We're not going high here. There should be zero pressure on that head or that neck, but then feel the squeeze of the glute, the hip. Breathe, and then lower that those hips back to the floor. Good. Two more just like that. Push into your left foot. Lift the hips just an inch. Maybe you point your toes or your ball mound to the right foot. And then flex, try to keep the hips level and flex. Good. One more point. Flex and lower. That was 2. Last one. Push, lift. It's just an inch. Here's the hard one. You're going to see if you can take the right foot out to the side just a little, right? As soon as we throw that line of that straight line off. That left side has to work like crazy. Bring the leg back in and lower. Holy moly. Switch legs. Woo, right foot down, left foot up. That left foot up is going to feel good. Good. Breathe, everybody. Now, you do not have to, right? Nice for me to tell you at this point, you don't have to lift the hips. Should have said that on the last one. If you press into your foot without lifting, you're going to engage some of those same muscles. All right, so I've got a good, strong hold on the left leg. My right foot is on the ground. The right arm is in robot with the shoulder pressing down to the ground. I'm going to push into my left foot and just lift the right, or just lift the hips. See if you can feel the evenness. So we're doing single side hip work, glute work here, which is very important because sometimes we are stronger on one side than the other. Good. Breathe, everybody, and lower. Find your breath. Good. Second one, we're going to push, we're going to lift. It's not a high lift. And then point and flex, point, flex. Good. Point, flex, and lower. Hold, relax for a moment. Last one here. The elbow shoulder presses into the floor. I zip up those tight pair of jeans. By the way, I've thrown all my tight ones out. Why bother? No, good. So press into that low belly, lift the hips, right? Life is too short to not be able to breathe. And then think about maybe pulling that left leg out just a little to the side. That right side has to work so much harder to keep us balanced, to keep us steady. And then take the leg back and lower down, release that leg. Good job, everyone. Woo, I know. All right, take your block, place it between your ankles, and take those feet or those legs to 90 degrees. Take your thumbs underneath your sacrum to help with that lower back. And then look at your knees. Keep your knees parallel with your feet. In other words, the knees aren't splaying out to the side. We're squeezing in through the inner thighs. Only do this if it does not hurt your lower back. You're going to tap those feet down to the floor and then slowly bring it up. Good. And tap and lift, the staying in 90 degrees the whole time. Tap. Try not to bring the knees past your hips when you're lifting. Tap and squeeze your block. Whew. Tap. Good. Squeeze it up. We've got 5 left. Tap it down. Squeeze. Watch the low back. You should not be rocking, right? That's why those thumbs are under the sacrum to keep you stable. Good. 2 left, everybody. Drop and lift. Whew. Last one. Drop and lift, and then straighten the legs all the way up. You've got that block. Breathe. Hands are under your sacrum. The belly squeezes in. See if you can lower those legs all the way slowly to the floor. Whew. Once you're there, take those hands out, push your block out of the way. Good. Just squeeze everything to center and release. And then walk your heels to the right edge of your mat. Just the heels, both heels to the right corner of your mat. Maybe slide the shoulders over toward the right a little bit. Your right arm goes down. The left arm goes up and overhead. Press the left hip back to the floor. So what happens here in this pose is we'll tend to lift the left hip off the floor. So keep that planted and breathe and just stretch that side, everyone. That's it. You can either point your toes or flex them. Good. Stretch through the left side of the belly. Good. Release the left arm. Walk those feet and the shoulders back to center, and then walk both feet over to the left. Pause. Maybe shift the shoulders, maybe not, right? So one side on my body, one side is really different from the other. On this side, I have to be just a little bit more mindful. There's something kind of tight there that I haven't figured out. The left arm stays down, the right arm goes overhead. We press the right hip back to the floor so the hips feel pretty even. And take a deep breath, everybody. Try to soften. Feel the stretch in the belly. You can always move the right arm over to the left a little bit more. That's it. Nice deep breath. One more. And release the right arm. Walk those feet back. Bring one knee up. Bring the other knee up. Bring both knees to your chest. Roll over to one side and come on up to a seat. Good. See, we got our core out of the way already. That's something to be excited about right there. All right, so find your best way to sit. Move the flesh out from the sit bones. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, one hand down, the other one reaches up to the ceiling first and then over. Good, breathe. Stay right here. Watch this standing shoulder, by the way. Make sure it's not hiking up. A lot of times, just in case I haven't mentioned this, if the hand is too close to the body, this can get, that shoulder can really get jammed up. So make sure the hand is out far enough. Take your hand behind your head, open up the elbow, and then maybe look toward that side a little bit and breathe. Keep that little bit of a twist, extend the arm again, and inhale both arms up. Exhale the other side, the hand comes down, the shoulder draws back and under. And by the way, right, again, you can play. I don't talk about this much, but once you roll that shoulder under, you might feel the latissimus dorsi, that back muscle, engage a little bit to help support you. Take the other arm up. Good. Soften the head, the neck, the jaw. Take the hand behind, open up the elbow, maybe look to that side a little bit. If this bothers your back, keep it more neutral, okay? Because this is a little bit of an extension. And breathe, and then extend out through the arm again. And lift up all the way. Good. Exhale, other side. One more here. We're going to do a little bit different. Engage your belly. Feel the, so my right hand down, if I'm not mirroring, it's my right hand down. I want to press my left hip down. Squeeze in through the low belly. Take that arm that's down, take it up. So now we're working side body again. Leave that same side hand and take the other one out like you're directing traffic or something, and breathe. And then let the opposite hand drop down. Again, think about the side to side here. How much has to work as I lean to that side? Take both arms up. Exhale both arms. Whew. Good. Other side, and then we're done with this. Take both arms up. Tone in through the belly. First, take the hand down. Engage that side body and take the arm up. Press down through the opposite hip. Tone in through the low belly. Take the arm up. It's like you're holding onto a package and you're just a little bit off center. Watch for tension here. And then take that opposite arm and reach it out and then turn it down so that the arms are diagonally working, one up, one down. Keep the chest open, maybe lean a little more and take everything up. Exhale, let that go. Nice job, everyone. Roll that out. And then just grab your strap. We'll loosen up the shoulders a little bit more, and then we're going to get moving. So take the arms up. Again, make sure your strap is wide enough so that if you choose to take the arms behind, you're not irritating the shoulders. Your arms do not have to go back. So you take it up, you take it back to your level, you take it up and down. The wider the arms are, usually the easier this is on the shoulder joints. Take it up, exhale, inhale, exhale. Just one more here. Reach up, reach back, and up and down. Good, good, good. That should feel like that released a little bit. And come on up to table pose. Now you're welcome to get on a blanket if you want. Especially, I have 2 mats here, so I don't usually need it. But if you want a blanket under those knees, take the time. Your knees are directly under your hips. Once you're there, I want you to walk both hands over to the right and drop the chest toward the floor. Your forehead, my forehead is on the ground. Your forehead does not have to be on the ground. Make sure the arms are wide enough that it isn't irritating to the shoulders. And then just wiggle your hips, just wiggle so that when the hips go to the right, you feel more stretch on that left side. Good, breathe. Come back to center, walk the hands back to the middle, and then walk them over to the left. Drop through the arms, keep the knees and the hips relatively in line, and then just wiggle those hips a little bit. That's it. And back to center, lift up, both hands come forward. With my lovelies out there with wrist issues, please just walk your hands a little bit more forward and then gather up that scoop of whatever is wonderful in between your elbows. Take the knees together. So the knees and the feet come together. This is going to be a little bit different, so just watch your knees. You're going to kickstand both feet over to the left. You're just going to allow them to go from center over to the left, and then you're going to look back to the left, stretching out the right side. And breathe. And then let them come through middle, kickstand both over to the right, and then look to the right. Good, one more, both sides. So again, we're stretching the side body. If you look over to the left, the feet are to the left, maybe you can see them, maybe not. And then let them glide over to the right. And back to center, separate those knees so that they are hips width apart. Plant your hands. If you're in my group, you know I sent you the video on wrists. Hopefully you've watched it and played with it. So take the hands in the place that makes sense for you. Flip your toes under, and before you lift, I want you to draw the inner ankles toward each other. So right, usually for me, my heels will kick out. I want you to kick them in so that the feet really are parallel, right between the knees or right behind the knees. Hone in through the belly, lift your knees a couple of inches, hold on to that bunch of laundry between the elbows, and then slowly bring the chest back, and then the legs straight, downward facing dog. Once you're in down dog, let's pedal it out. Stretch, check the hands. How do they feel in this pose? How is the weight of your hands here? Use your breath. And then come all the way to tippy toes. Lower your knees, slow, 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 slow down. Walk your hands to the right, press down, stretch out the left side. You can tell we're heading towards side body work today. Lift up, walk those hands to center, and then to the left, drop the hips toward the right. Breathe. Press into your hands. Good. Kickstand the feet to the right and look over at them. Kickstand them to the left and look at them on that side. Bring them back to center, plant your hands, lift the knees, open up the shoulders, grab a hold of that bundle of $1 million bills or chocolate or spaghetti. I don't care what it is, just grab onto it and then feel the hips reach back as the arms extend. The knees are deeply bent. And then straighten the legs, everybody. Whew. Let the back of the legs stretch out. Feel as if you could pull the weight out of the hands and out of the wrists by engaging the shoulders and the upper back. Good. Tippy toes down to your knees. Whoo. Pause for a second there. Come on, off those wrists. Give them a good squeeze and stretch, squeeze and stretch, and then shake those babies out. Got one more thing on the floor, and then we're coming up, up, up. All right, so we're here, back to table pose. Watch those hands, everyone. You're going to leave your left knee where it is. You're going to straighten the right leg so that the foot points toward the arch of your top leg or your right leg, and then kickstand out your bottom leg or your left leg. I always have to adjust my left hand in a little bit and then push up to take that hand to your hip. And then just see how this feels, right? The chest is open. This standing shoulder is rolling under. I've got this back body engaged. Take the top arm up. Keep the foot on the floor. Keep your right foot on the floor. And breathe. And then lengthen the tailbone, soften the lower ribs in just a little bit, and take the top hand over your ear. The palm is face down, and let it reach toward the floor. Like we're making a big old C pattern here as the fingertips reach toward the floor. And then take it up. Take that same hand behind your head. Open up the elbow, look toward the ceiling, only if it feels okay. Keep the low ribs in toward the body and extend out through that arm again. And breathe. Release, take that arm up. Whoo. Turn back to your mat. Release that knee. Maybe sit back for just a moment and stretch out your back. And then come on up. Let's do the other side. And then we're done with this. The right knee stays down. The left leg goes long. And I turn the foot so that I'm heading down toward that pinky edge of my left foot. And then kickstand the right foot out. Adjust the right hand as you need to. Open up that right shoulder. Turn the body to the side. Press into that long left leg. And take your hand to your hip. Tone the lower ribs in toward the body. Take the top arm up. Breathe. And then start to let that top arm go over your ear. And stretch, stretch, stretch. And see where that hand will go toward the floor. Keeping the long leg down on the floor. And take the arm up. Take that hand behind your head, open up the elbow, maybe look a little more diagonally without lifting the chin. By the way, open that chest and then let the arm reach again. So a slight back bend. Good, release. Take that hand to the floor, holy moly. Come on down to your bellies. Whew, I did say we were coming up, but I think we need just a moment here to shake out the hips. Good. Breathe, everybody. You're going to come up to your elbows and softly interlace your hands. Soft, soft, soft. Make sure the elbows are roughly shoulders width apart. And then if your hands are interlaced, just get your pinky finger out from under there So they're still bent, Betty. The fingers are still curled under. You're just not leaning on the bottom pinky. So they're both kind of in the middle there. Yeah. And then feel the wrist kind of move toward each other a little bit, just so there's a lot of integrity in the wrists. Press into your elbows, press into your knees, flip your toes under, and find plank on elbows. And breathe. So the low ribs draw in, the belly draws in, the legs fire up. And we find our breath here. Watch the tension in the head, the neck. Breathe. Kind of looking at your wrists or your thumbs. Come on. Breathe, everybody. And lower the knees. Let go of the toes. Lower the hips. Come on down. And breathe. Hard stuff out of the way. All right, fingers are still interlaced. Bring the elbows back underneath. Get the pinky thumb out of there so you're not putting all the weight on one finger. Pull up to the shoulders, press into the arms, flip your toes under, move through your knees, right? So you don't just kind of lift from your low back. So push into your knees, half plank. Lift the knees for full plank. Breathe. Just notice, right? What did they, I read a sign, age is all a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Breathe, push into those hips. Don't let them sink, everyone. Find that core work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Listen up. Lower the knees. Lower the hips. Keep your fingers interlaced. Elbows out to the side. Palms down. Your forehead rests on your interlaced fingers. Deep breath. Widen the legs a little bit. Just take them to the edges of your mat. Push into your hips and pubic bone. Keep your fingers glued to your forehead and lift your arms off the floor. And breathe. So I'm trying to pull my fingers apart, but not letting them. I'm keeping my forehead attached. Breathe. And lower. Let's just do one more of those because that was way too much fun for just one. If I don't say so myself. Elbows are out to the sides. I'm trying to pull my fingers apart. So there's a lot of work going on already. Draw the shoulders down, press into the pubic bone, lift the head. Lift the feet only if it makes sense for you, but don't look up. I'm looking at my mat, trying to draw the back of my head up, but not my head or my chin. Breathe, try to pull the fingers apart. And release. Whoo! Windshield wiper those legs, everybody. Release your hands. Press up to table. From table, walk those hands to the front of your mat if they're not already. Find the position in the hands, in the arms that makes sense in your body. Tone in through the lower belly, flip your toes under, and let's find downward facing dog. Once again, bend one knee and then the other. Maybe you notice already that the back of the legs feels a little bit more open. And then feet wide, hands walk back. Parallel your feet to the outer edges of your mat. So the pinky side of my feet is lined up with the mat. Bend your knees, take your elbows to your knees, and then sit back in a chair. The head, chest are lifted enough so that you're not looking down at your mat. You're kind of looking forward. to the front of your mat. Tone the belly in and breathe. Lift one elbow, just one elbow, and lower it down. Lift the other elbow. Lower it down. Hang on to those hands. Lift both elbows. Breathe, push into your feet, and then stand all the way up and give those hips a good squeeze and shake everything out. Whew. Right? All ready. Good. Stand tall, everyone. Who cannot like this, right? This is just way too much fun. All right, you're standing in mountain pose. In fact, let's grab a block just to make sure the legs stay evenly weighted. I have mine long for more feedback, and then walk the feet in and draw the inner ankles toward each other. Lift up all your toes, spread them out, and then lower them down. Give the block a decent squeeze, 20%-ish. Take the arms up, grab one wrist, reach up first, watch the shoulders, reach over second. Breathe. Now my arm is by my ear and my ear is by my arm. I'm not dropping my head. I'm stretching that side. Lift up. Grab the other wrist. First get long and then lean over. Good. Deep breath. Come up. Both hands soft interlace behind the head. I'm not even like all the way up to the top of the knuckles here. I'm very, very soft. Draw the elbows back. Draw the hands. It's almost like I'm going to pull my head down at the back without lifting the chin. Go over to one side. Easy, easy. And center. Go to the other side. Whew. And lift and let go. Good. Roll that out. Maybe a little circle of those shoulders. And come on back to the front of your mat. You can have your blocks nearby. We're not going to use them just yet. So from the front of your mat, let's take the right leg and step back. We're coming into warrior stance. Your back leg either straight across or slightly turned in. Your front knee bent so that your ankle line up. And again, if you can, lift all the toes of your front foot and spread through the base of this foot, and then lower them down. And then find the length of your pose. Create space from the front hip, from the top of the hip to the bottom of the hip. Just pull that space back. Wrap the hip back so that the knee tracks over your third toe. Back leg is active. We know all this, right? We've been doing it forever. All right, take the arms out. Roll the shoulders back. Turn the palms up. And breathe. Soften this and a slight squeeze between the shoulder blades. And then imagine somebody has your fingertips at the back and they're pulling you back slightly so that the torso, the ribs, the shoulders now come square over the hips instead of leaning forward. Take the back hand, drop it down your thigh, and reach with the top arm into exalted warrior. Some of you are going to be able to bend a little more in that front knee. Watch the weight in the back hand. You should be able to lift your back hand off your leg. Good. Deep breath. Squeeze in through the low ribs. You know who you are. Breathe. And then float, 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 float. Forearm to thigh. Extended side angle. As my right hand reaches, my left hip actually draws back a little bit more. Good. Find your pose, everybody. Working with these legs. Take the arms up, warrior. Breathe. Palms are face down. Take your back arm, reach forward. Just reach forward. Everything else stays the same. Push into your back leg. Reach it back out. Straighten your front leg. And release it. Turn those legs. Both feet forward. Just shake out your hips. Same thing other side, but I want you to start with both feet parallel, straight to that long edge of your mat. That's going to help that back leg. And then when you're ready, just lift and pivot on your front foot and then bend the knee. And then look at your alignment. How is it for you? Did you line up either front heel to back arch or front heel to back heel? And then bend into your front leg, engage the back, press that pinky edge down into the mat, take the arms up, roll the shoulders, turn the palms up. And then think about, always for me, I've got to think about this front hip just pressing back a little bit, but how do we press the hip back without the ribs coming forward? So we move back out of that. Both palms are face up. I'm going to engage the back body. I'm also zipping up that tight pair of jeans. Good. When you're ready, the back hand turns, drops down to your thigh. We're going to reach up nice and tall, right? And breathe. Remember that back hand, you should be able to lift it without issue. The front knee bends a little bit more. Woo! And then slowly float up, elbow down to thigh, reach over. Again, my front hip actually draws back even more for extended side angle, but I have not forgotten about that back leg. It is active. I'm actively pushing that foot into the floor. Big deep breath. Good. Take the top hand, reach. Take the top hand behind you, reach and just open up that shoulder. Press everything back to warrior. Whew. Use your breath here. Take the back hand, turn both hands forward, and then reach it back again. Whew. Straighten the leg, turn your toes, heel toe in, and shake that out. Whew. Right? Just like, holy moly. Especially when you slow it down. I love to slow down the transitioning into the full pose, right? So let's go wide again. Turn all the toes pointing forward. We're going back to the first side. So if I'm not mirroring, it's my right leg that stays straight. If I am mirroring, it's your left leg. And then pivot on the front foot and bend the front knee. Engage, right? This should feel active, this hip. Think about the front hip, the front knee, that front knee tracking right over the third toe. And then I'm going to push both legs away. Excuse me. And then I'm going to push these front ribs back in a little bit and take the arms out. Good. This time I want to pretend that I'm pressing down on a table. So I'm going to, right? Like, I'm going to feel the resistance of those arms trying to press down to the imaginary table. The belly tones in, the low ribs, those floater ribs soften in. I gaze over, but I'm still pressing down into a table. And then turn the palms forward, keep the shoulders wide, press into a wall that's right in front of you. And breathe. Turn the palms up, press up into the ceiling that just got really low. Breathe, and then turn them all the way around and press into a wall behind you. Release those arms, just swing them up. Take them down, extended side angle again. Breathe. Now, notice that top shoulder. Can we open it? Can we take the top hand behind our head, press our head into the hand, draw the low ribs in, these babies right here, draw them in so we're not overarching. Maybe glance a little sideways toward the ceiling and extend out again. Good, lift everything up. Whew. Straighten the leg. Maybe heel toe in just a little, shake it out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Right, so we talk about these low ribs, and this has come up for a reason. One of you know why. right? These low floater ribs, they're not even attached to anything. They just kind of float here, right? They're attached at the back, but not at the front. And then we want to just like soften them in, but more than in, down. And as soon as we do that, we feel the integrity of this mid spine kind of take hold. So I hope that makes a little sense. Again, if I'm mirroring, it'd be your right leg. That one stays straight. The other leg turns out. We're going to the other side. I'm going to bend the knee. I may go a little longer if it feels right and my alignment feels good. I'm going to lift my front toes, spread them out, and then take them down. I'm going to take the ribs and the shoulders back over the hips. And just notice how that feels. Take the arms out, everybody. Press down into an imaginary floor or table. Feel the shoulder blades behind you engage, right? Feel the muscles, not the shoulder blades, but the muscles engage behind you. And breathe. And then turn the palms forward and imagine you're pushing up against something, but the hands don't move. Watch the knee, right front knee. Breathe. Turn the palms up. Imagine pushing up the whole time, the back body active. And then turn them all the way around and push back behind a wall. And breathe. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forearm to thigh. Whew. Watch the front hip, front knee. Did you lose some part of this alignment as you moved into extended side angle? Take the hand behind the head, press the hand back or the head back, but watch for the arching, right? We're still drawing the low ribs in as we open the elbow, as we maybe look up at the corner where the ceiling and the wall meet. Pull the ribs in, everybody. Press through the back leg. And then extend out again, lift up, woo-hoo, and release. Walk those feet together. And just bend one knee and then the other. That's a whole bunch of stuff on the legs. We got one more here. Find your breath. Good. Let's go back to the first side. We're almost done. It's a little bit different here. This time the front leg is straight. Check your back foot, right? Make sure it's either straight or slightly angled forward, slightly. What we don't want is the toes pointing backwards, because then that's going to try to pull this hip back, and that's not the direction we want it. So front leg is straight. We've got a heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Inhale, reach the arms up. Now watch your balance here. This back arm goes down, reverse triangle, whoo, or exalted triangle. I'm not sure. I think it's just reverse triangle. Breathe, squeeze the heck out of your back leg, back glutes, and then reach up, float it. Start to slide like you're doing a cartwheel. Take that hand to your shin, to the inside is fine. The front hip draws in. It's almost as if that femur, that thigh bone, can draw into the muscle more. The chest opens, the tailbone gets long. That top arm behind your head, open up, whoop, open up the chest, and then take that arm up again and breathe. Triangle pose. Slide the arm up, whew. Open them up, let those hands come down. Turn that front foot in to become the back foot. Turn the back foot forward to become the front foot. Oh my gosh. Good. Level out the hips. Squeeze. Inhale the arms up. Good. Exhale. Back hand goes down. Front leg is straight. It's what changes this pose. The front ribs open up, everybody. And then float slow, 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 slow. If you feel this in your lower back, I'm going to invite you to draw the front ribs in and lengthen the tailbone. Taking that arm up, finding your pose, lengthening through the shoulders, maybe dropping these outside or these outer top ribs down a little bit. Breathe. Hand comes behind your head. Open up the elbow, open the chest a little, extend the arm back up, and then slide up. Woo-hoo. Turn all your toes in and come on down, forward fold. And breathe, everybody. From the forward fold, just walk your hands out so that you're on your fingertips. Stretch through the torso, your head stays between the arms. And then almost lean back, get heavier in the heels. So we're creating a little bit of traction here by keeping the hands forward, dragging, holding on and dragging the hips back a little bit. Deep breath. Excuse me. And then walk those hands back. Turn the toes out, bend the knees, and come on up. Whew. Good. Step those legs together and give the hips and glutes a good squeeze, everybody. Good. And then just take your hands to your back pockets. They shouldn't be up too high. If they're up too high, right, your shoulders roll forward, so take them down. Lift your chest. Draw the elbows parallel to each other. So you're squeezing them into the middle. Soften the knees and then soften the belly in more, right? So the goal here is to not lean back. It's to find the length by pushing down into the back pockets, keeping the back of the knees soft, squeezing the elbows together. You can even lower the hands if you want. Big deep breath. Bring the back of the head back. Good, as if someone were kind of mushing your face. And release that, let go. Again, find your breath. And then come on back to the front of your mat. How are we doing? Okay. Back to the front. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, take it down. Step back to downward facing dog. Find your pose, listen up. This is our last one. This one, well, last one of kind of this kind. And this is optional. So you're going to walk the feet just a little closer together, not all the way, but about halfway back in. And then drop your heels to the right. I want you to bend your right knee. Your left leg is staying straight. It's this weird little pose. And then come up to the fingertips of your left hand. So your left leg is straight, your right knee is bent. You're leaning a lot of weight on that right side. And then take everything back to center. Turn the heels to the left. Bend the left knee. Lighten the right hand. Again, stretching out side body. And center. Whew. Inhale to your tippy toes. Exhale, your knees come to the floor. And we find either child's pose or hero pose or something that feels good, feels resting to you. Whew, good. Just find your breath here, everybody. If you're feeling your wrists, always when we take these rest poses, take the moment to circle out. And I hope those of you who have seen the video, watched the video, played with the video, that is already starting to feel different in the whole complex of fingertips all the way across the shoulders to the other hand as we find what works great for our bodies. All right, so grab your blankets. And you're going to take that blanket, you're going to open it up like we've done before. You're going to fold it into 3. just like that. So it's just a nice long burrito. And then you're going to take that right to the center, pretty much to the center of your mat. Let me just move my blocks out of the way. And then you're going to lay on it on your, I'll mirror here. So go ahead and lay on your right side. I'm going to bring this down a little bit more so I'm sure I have room for my upper body and my elbow once we get there. You're just going to lay on the blanket on your left or on your right side. It's going to feel weird. So the hips are hiked up, your legs, your knees are bent. Whew. And you're going to breathe here. And then take the bottom knee and let it rest on the blanket too. Okay, so I've just moved kind of to the back edge of my blanket so that my bottom knee or thigh, really, it's not so much the knee, but your thigh can kind of rest on the blanket. Take the top leg, extend it straight out toward the short edge of your mat. Turn the toes so they're pointing to whatever wall is in front of you. Hold the belly in, bring the low ribs in, and lift that top leg. Keep the toes pointing forward so that we stay at the hip. And lower, maybe toe, big toe touches the floor. Squeeze it up. And slowly lower it down. Big toe touches. 3 more. Lift and squeeze. And lower. And lift. You're going to feel, as long as those toes stay pointing forward or slightly down, there's a place where you can't lift any higher unless you turn that toe. All right, so lift and hold, everybody. So keep the toe either pointing forward or slightly down. Keep the hips stacked. Breathe. Lift your bottom foot off the floor as well. The top leg might lift a little bit higher, and then I want you to pulse for 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower. Bend both knees and hold. Straighten both legs. So now it's really weird because you're like doing a little C pattern over that, and come up to your elbow. So I'm on my elbow. I like a soft fist and I like a slight diagonal to my forearm. Where you go, we've talked about this before. Some people go straight out, some people come straight across. I think it is mostly taught straight across, right? So straight to that edge of your mat. So you're here, take your top leg and step it in front of you. Lengthen your bottom leg. You're going to come off of this blanket and lift up. Your bottom foot is giving you some work. This is a side plank variation. The side muscles pull in. Maybe the top arm lifts. Maybe it stays on the floor to help. Good. So breathe. Try to lift off your outer ankle and press as if you were stepping on a floor. That's it. Find your breath, everybody. And lower down and release. And you're going to break dance yourself to the other side. You're laying on your blanket. You're right on that side hip muscle, tensor fascia lata. The knees bend. The bottom thigh is supported on the blanket. The top leg lengthens. Make sure you're laying right on that side. Flex your foot. Maybe the toes turn down. Lift up slow. Feel that. And lower down so your big toe touches. Good. Lift up. Exhale slow. And lift. Exhale. One more. Lift. Squeeze at the top. And lower. And then lift both so that they're both kind of level. And take the top leg up. And then pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. You can bend that knee for a moment. Relax the legs. Straighten both legs. Whew. And breathe. Come up on your elbow. Make sure your shoulder to elbow feels really supported. You're moving away from that floor. Top leg steps forward, the bottom leg, that foot flexes. And as you lift, coming into this side plank variation, it's as if that bottom leg, that long leg, is just reaching toward a wall or a floor as we press up and maybe lift up. Keep the ribs moving up toward the ceiling. Press through that long leg, stamp and step into that front foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Whew. And release. I want you to come down so that your hips are on the blanket and the rest of you lowers down. So you're on the blanket on your sacrum. Should not be in your low back. Your low back is free, right? You can put your hand under there. It's got a lot of opening. The shoulders draw down. Both arms come to robot arms. You're going to lengthen your tailbone. Lift up off your blanket. Just lift and lower. Good. 4 more, just like that. Lift, squeeze, lower. And 3, lift, squeeze, and lower. 4, and 5, and lower. Listen up. 1, your option for that, 6 more times, or other option is 3 on each side. As I lift, I'm taking a knee with me. So I'm going to lift my left knee and then just tap the toe and lift and lower. 1 more, lift and lower. Switch sides, lift and lower and lift. You got it. And lower. Last one. Lift and lower. And then just pause here with that blanket under your sacrum. It should feel really nice. Draw your left knee to your chest and straighten your right leg. Nice stretch here for the front thigh, front psoas. The hands can go underneath your left knee. Just check your sacrum and see where it feels good to you. If you're rolling over, as my friend Deb would say, if you're rolling over the waistband, right, that back will really flatten. So maybe you press the right heel down a little more instead, and then lengthen up through your left foot. Point, flex, point, flex. 1 more big point, big flex. Circle that ankle, circle the other way, and then draw your first name with your foot. Yep, you're spelling it out. I would do cursive and find that. Ooh, for 4 letters, that was a long one. Lift your right leg, squeeze your belly, level out your hips, push your left leg into your hands, and release both knees to chest. Keep the right leg in, straighten the left leg. Again, notice where you're landing on that blanket, on the sacrum. Try to keep it level instead of rolling onto your back. Ooh, good. Straighten the right leg. Just pause here and point, flex, point. If you have a really long first name, like Miss Margaret out there, it could be a long one. Circle the ankle one way, circle the other way, and then spell your first name with your foot. Ankle work. Good. Stretch it out. Push your leg into your hands. Lift your right leg, everybody. Squeeze through the belly. Chest is lifted, the shoulders press to the floor. And release both knees to your chest. Both feet to the floor. You're going to take that blanket, lift your hips, and lower your blanket and come into Baddha Konasana with your feet on your blanket. So you may have to shift a little one way or the other on your mat so that your feet are resting on your blanket. Your tailbone is nice and long. You're not overarching. The front ribs soften a little bit down toward the floor. And we close our eyes and we just let this be. We see if we can allow gravity to take the legs. Now, if this feels funky to you, you know that word funky, right? If it feels funky, I would take the feet off the blanket and let the lower legs be supported. That is going to be a little bit more gentle of a stretch. So just see if that is what your body would rather have, right? We can trust this process of feedback in our bodies. As I said to my friend this morning, I want you to feel what you are feeling in your body as opposed to seeing what is happening in your body. So just feel this, right? What needs to shift, if anything? Just breathe, everyone. And then if your feet are on your blanket, let them slide off your blanket down, not up, so that your lower legs are supported. You're more of a diamond pattern now. Again, see how that feels in your body. Take your hands to the outer thighs, draw the legs in. Lift your hips and press them to the left edge of your mat. Draw your knees to your chest and allow the knees to roll over to the right. Your left hand is actually going to circle forward over your ear, over your head, and then into a twist, either straight arm or cactus pose, so that we come into a twist. Nice deep breath, everyone. Back of the neck is long, the chin is not lifting. Soften your jaw. Take a deep breath into the left side chest as we move through the spine. And then bring the knees up one at a time. The feet go to the floor, the hips shift to the middle and then over to the right. The knees come up, they go over to the left. The right arm comes forward as we circle it way up and overhead and then let it release to the right side. Again, we soften what we can here. Sometimes these twists are a little deep. You can either take a block under your knees, between your knees, or you can leave the top knee up, right? So that it is not such a deep twist. We trust our bodies. We love our bodies. That should be a mantra in every yoga class, in every life, really. We trust our bodies. We love our bodies. We take care of our bodies. Deep breath. And release one knee and then the other. Bring your hips back to the middle. Bring both knees to your chest. Straighten one leg over your blanket. Straighten the other leg over your blanket. If your blanket is in a funky spot, just change, shift up, shift down, or move your blanket. Allow the hands to rest at the low belly, your elbows comfortable on the floor, your shoulders are down, the back of your neck is long. And here you just feel the soft, sweet breath of your inhale and your exhale. We soften and we release. And we imagine our bodies melting into our mat so that there are no longer edges. There's no longer a definitive outline. We just soften. If your hands are still on your belly, allow those to let go. Take the arms down along your sides with the palms face up. Breathe. Soften. Good. One more soft, deep breath as we go even softer. And then start to wiggle your toes. Maybe windshield wiper the feet. Just let them come in and out a couple of times. And then bend one knee. Bend the other knee. Pause. Draw one knee up and then the other knee up and roll over to one side, coming into seedling pose. And then from seedling up to a seat. And then think to yourself, I feel good. Da, 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 da. Okay. Hands to your heart. Bow to your own inner goodness, that joy, that trust, that love. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Great day. Thank you so much for coming to class.